Sports News.
I do. G'day, Tim. Mate, what was your reaction when you heard that yet another opponent in Keith Thurman had withdrawn, and how quickly were you to agree to take on next opponent in such a tall and potentially dangerous opponent in just, not much preparation?
As you mentioned, it is what it is. There was no hesitation. It was straight away. 10-second thing, yes, it made me pissed off. But yeah, the focus shifts and the show goes on. Simple.
And sorry, Tim, was there anyone in your camp who potentially was wary of taking such a potentially tricky opponent? I mean, he's such a tall bloke, and I guess someone that's too tall in some ways for the division.
It is what it is, man. You got to be able to take on all comers. Like, he's tricky, he's tall, but whatever. I'm confident in victory by any means, anyway.
You really don't care who stands in your way, do you?
Clearly not.
Thanks, Scott. Mel Woods, AAP.
G'day, Tim. I just wondered, have you had a chance to kind of think about, this chance to emulate your dad as a unified world boxing champion?
What's that?
I just wondered I know it's all happened very quickly, but if you had a chance kind of to think about the chance to emulate your dad as a unified world boxing champion?
Yeah, it's I haven't really thought about it. But yeah, it's pretty cool that it's going to be a unification, and that doesn't really happen often in boxing. So I guess that's the next drive for me. And yeah, we're talking about the greatest boxing families to ever step foot on this earth happening right now.
So at the end of the day, the way things have worked out do you feel like it might actually be a positive?
Of course, I'm fighting for the WBC and WBO belt at the same arena, on the same platform.
And just finally for me, Scott mentioned about how tall Fundora is. I mean, are you scouring the Las Vegas for sparring partners that are 6'5", or how does that?
We got some already. My manager and one of our assistant coaches here in Vegas have sorted it out straight away. We flew 2 boys in last night, so the boys arrived this morning, and I got my last week of sparring. It's a big shift, I understand. Like, I've been preparing for Keith Thurman, but now it's a shift. So whatever, it is what it is. I got boys ready on the go. So this is what it takes to be great. Simple.
Thanks, Mel. Abraham Gonzalez.
Hey, Tim, how you doing?
Good.
You hear me? Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I was curious. I know that the news kind of broke out today, but was there some indication, maybe before that, maybe as early as last week, that potentially there was going to be a change in opponent?
No, I found out last night.
Okay. And then also I saw that Terrence Crawford has submitted to become the mandatory for the WBO. That's got to be some motivation for you, knowing that you get through Fundora and there's a mega fight with Terrence Crawford down the road there, maybe even as early as the summertime. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, beautiful. That's every fighter's dream, I guess, to be fighting on the biggest stage of them all. But now the dream is to unify. So I'm happy that we're fighting for both WBO and WBC belt.
You just raised.
I'd like to ask a question if Tim is there.
Yeah, please.
You guys hear me?
Yeah, Dan.
This is Dan Rayfield. Tim, how are you?
Good.
There you go. I think I missed the very beginning of this, so forgive me if I'm asking this again. If you've already answered, I jumped in maybe a couple of minutes after you started. I just realized with the time difference. I'd like to hear your general reaction to when you were told that Thurman was going to be out, and what your reaction was to that in making this change.
Like it was, of course, it's a shock at first, but it's happened a couple times for me, so it's not something that wouldn't say I'm used to it, but it's happened a couple times. Obviously disappointed at first because your whole preparation, you're focusing on this one bloke, one style, and it's just a switch. So, my shift has changed. Thurman's out of the picture. I'm on to Fundora now.
When did you find out about his situation?
Last night.
So that would have been Sunday night in Vegas.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the other question is this. You know, I looked at this and I'm like, wow, you know, got to give Tszyu a lot of credit because not only is he switching opponents on 12 days notice in a very important fight, but he's switching from a guy that's like 5'9" to a guy that's 6'6", and he's switching from as you were just talking about, switching from a right-handed fighter to a southpaw. Which do you think is more complicated? Switching to a guy that's that much taller or switching to a guy that is now a lefty instead of the righty you were prepping for? And why?
Probably the height, you know, because you come up against Southpaws before, but to come up against the Southpaw that tall, it's not very known, especially in the 154-pound division, you know. So I think that's the biggest challenge that I've got in front of me, just the tallness.
And did you have any hesitation whatsoever when
No.
the replacements were offered?
No. I'm not Thurman. I don't need 2-3 days to be able to analyze. It was done like that. They told me, Fundora, so it's yes, done.
All right. I thank you, Tim. I wish you good luck.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Dan. Just going to Nick Walshaw from Fox Sports News now.
Hey, Tim, mate, you mentioned obviously that Glenn's already flown some Southpaws in for sparring. Mate, I know you've got a Southpaw living there in the house with you and sitting across the table. I'm wondering if there's any chance you'll do any rounds with your brother between...
No, it's too short. You're too small, Nikita.
Can I ask too, obviously you were initially preparing for a Southpaw, right? So did that sort of come into play when you made the decision that the fact that sort of back in January when this all started, you know, you were thinking Lubin and stuff like that, did that sort of factor in that you'd already done some preparation at least around?
Yeah, like my mind like with Southpaws, my mind's definitely been worked. We did over 100 rounds before I came into camp with Southpaws. So I'm comfortable with them. That again, whoever they put in front of me, man, I really don't care less.
And can I ask, mate, how many other guys in the division do you think would take on Fundora on 12 days' notice?
0.
Why particularly did you say yes?
There was no hesitation. There's no reason for me to back out. I fear no man. I know I'm the best at 154. I know what I possess, so it's simple. I'm not the one to fear. He should be fearing me. That's the difference. Have you watched Troy?
It's been a while, but yes.
Remember what Achilles did?
Yep.
With the man?
Yep.
No, it's not the size of the man in the battle.
Thank you, mate.
Jaden Ryan, the Punch Podcast.
Good stuff. You got me, Tim?
Huh?
Yeah, I just checking you could hear me. All good. Everything's working on my end. Look, I think it could have been a little while before you actually got to win a world title in Vegas the way the belts were going, but you get that opportunity now. What's it going to mean to you to actually claim a belt in Las Vegas, which has pretty much been your plan?
Yeah, unify WBC and WBO, you know, 2 belts.
But you'll be claiming one, I guess, in there, which is an amazing thing, which I think could have been a longer road through Madrimov or however else, but I think you'll
Doesn't matter. doesn't matter. I just got to choose a nice green color car to match the belt now. Once I win it.
I did see the president of the WBO said within 5 days of whoever wins, being yourself, has to start talking to the mandatory, which is Terence Crawford. So is that something that we could see by the end of the year, realistically, right?
Yeah, beautiful.
Works for you? No, I'm all good.
Thanks, Jabin. Jay McAllister.
Hi, Tim. Just wondering, man, you got Brian Mendoza in the camp. He obviously had a big win against Fundora. Have you spoken to him? Do you expect to speak to him? Do you expect to get any tips off him?
Yeah, you know what? Like, it's funny. The last time we sparred, we just had a random conversation about Fundora actually, and he basically said Fundora's like a height bully. That's all he is. He's got average boxing skills, average IQ. He's just got this physique that he allows just to bully people. But you can really work him out, and and what's his name? Mendoza got him good. Let's just say that.
And I guess a lot of talk about throwback fighters. Would you describe yourself as a throwback fighter for taking a fight like this on 12 days' notice?
100%. Like, man, nothing stops me no matter what. So it's like, like where I live in my mind, I'm in a different era to where we are now. We live in an era of Twitter battles rather than fighters, so I hope I can inspire more boxers out there, like I saved the show. I saved it, like T-Mobile Arena, all of this stuff, every other fighter that's fighting on the undercard. It's all because of my decision. And it was like that.
Beauty. Thanks, man.